Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Charlie Monson, your network host. And welcome everybody. And we're looking forward to have an exciting show. How are you, Marina?
I'm so excited to be here with you, and I know we have great news for our listeners. I know that most of our listeners know you are the builder, the network builder. You are the connector, and you are broadcasting all the way from South Africa. Over to you, Charlie.
Thank you very much, Nina. Yes, very cold day today in South Africa. These past couple of days, we've been going up to 10, 11 degrees. We're actually freezing. You guys out there in Europe and all over else where there is summer now, I envy you. We're looking forward to having a great show, Nina.
Yes, it is a lot of there are lots of um, hot ideas which are going to change the temperature in your room. Trust me. So I can't wait for you to
Absolutely.
share what
Absolutely.
happened since last time you've been broadcasting from Johannesburg.
Well, a lot has happened. We have had quite a few developments from my side, making new connections, um, being a passion that I love. I love connecting with people. And the question is, where did I really gain this experience or fall in love with networking and connecting with people?
You
Having
know,
grown up,
Charlie, how people. I don't know if you happen to you, but you go to a dinner and people are asking, so how you two met, or so I'm asking you, how you two met, you and your passion for connecting people to see what is best in themselves and in others. What make you the person you are? What brought you to this moment in your life when everybody is looking up to you, everybody is coming to you for answers, and you are so kind and you spend the time and the energy, and instead of giving them answer, you are helping them asking better questions. I know that as a fact, and I love that. But what is your passion for connecting people coming? What happened in your life that brought you in this moment in time when you are recognized like the number one networker, the number one connector, the godfather of networking in South Africa?
well, Marina, this goes back many, many years. Um, as we discussed the last time when we spoke about confidence. Now, confidence also comes with a whole lot of respect. I think I could have been about 9 or 10 years, and my father set me down. And these are my father's words. Anybody who is stood in front of you equal to you. He is just a person as you are a person. So I remember saying that, but you are basically saying we equal. He says yes. Whether he be richer than you, smarter than you, fatter than you, bigger than you, taller, broader, in every aspect. Respect him so that he can respect you. So I've never to speak to people based on how they told me. Coaching and speaking to somebody sort of basically developed as well when I started short track speed skating. Now, having grown up in a community that is sub-economic, being basically infested with drugs, gangsters, and poverty, I had to now make a decision. Do I want the mentality of the community swallow me? Now, that was quite a huge decision that I made. To be different. I be me. Now, over the years, I've been one who's always going out and taking on challenges per se. Being also in the apartheid era, it was pretty difficult because you were not really allowed to do certain things that you wanted to do. I mean, be it from education, be it personal growth, etc. And I just stepped myself out of that area or into that situation and was very outgoing, a bit, and I ended up at speed skating. Now, a colored guy, well, in South Africa, we've got these different groups that have been named, but let me put it better, a person of color, because the spectrum goes pretty wide. I then started ice skating. Now, a person of doing ice skating, it was like, wow, that's a Cinderella sport. So that is how I got to meet a lot of people, many different people, and the challenges came where, how hungry are you to achieve? Being given the limitations, later in years I became a national. I'd hardly been 18 years old, attended the first World Short Track Speed Skating Championships, and that was way back in 1978. Now, come 2001, I had then been elected onto council of the national body. I was also an assistant national coach, the development officer, and a member of the exco. So we attended a global seminar, a development seminar in Japan, and a gentleman, Mr. Bill Markland, while we were discussing, he says, your face looks very familiar. How long have you been skating? Or where do I know you from? I said, well, I've been skating since 1974, started short track speed skating in 1976, and we attended the first ISU Short Track World Championships. He immediately went, aha, where are you from? You, that naughty little youngster who was in every change room where we had to find you. At the time, he was the manager of the American team. Now, that is where the passion of networking and meeting people, because they could not stop me from getting these change rooms. When the Americans are warming down, I'm with them. When the Japanese are warming up, I'm out there with them and meeting and interacting with the skaters. And I found that those relationships that I built then lasted many years. At the same seminar, a young man called Stuart Horspool walked into the room, and you could actually see bumps pop up in our pool was from Nottingham. And I stayed in their house while we were in England, in Nottingham. So the the relationship had still lasted for more than 30, 40 years. And it was really a heartwarming moment to still recognize one another. And based on that, I think that is where my networking is, and being able to speak to people and to connect with them. Now, when it comes to the networker, I've been told by my coaches and colleagues as well, Charlie, how do you do it? You just connect, you can walk up to anybody, just talk to them, irrespective of who it is. To saying that that is what starting a conversation with anybody is as simple to me as just introducing yourself. And that's where it starts. Again, the most important thing is your confidence again, your your genuinity, just being yourself, just being genuine, not faking it, pretending to be someone else, thinking to be at a certain status. People sort of like that. And that's what makes it so easy. Over to you, Nina.
Wow. Charlie, I was listening to you and thinking that truly and truly, the currency of real networking is not something you could measure into a currency like a local currency or a foreign exchange. It's all about how generous you are with your time. And I know that a while ago, somebody said that you have to have a 2-minute introduction. And I think since then, everything changed into the world, and you don't really need to restrict yourself only to live events and networking with people in real life. You could network with them on the digital world. So I created the 30-second message. So I help our listeners and my clients to craft their 30-second message. And then, of course, it is a lot easier to go into a lot many more words, and you develop the 30-second message into a 3-minute message. And then, of course, it's even a lot easier to develop the 3 minutes message into the 3 days message. And I wonder, you see, because you have so little to introduce yourself, it is your chance to present yourself, to be in front of your audience. Doesn't matter if it's one person or 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000 people, and tell them about your background, about your hopes, about your dreams, about your goals, your hobbies, your marital status, about your children, about your difficulties, about your challenges. And I know that while you are working hard on crafting that message, is always at the back of your mind is the question, who am I to tell these people that I'm worth connecting with? And to me, is what you teach is giving the currency for real networking, for people who could connect with each other for life. Because it's not about selling. Most people think I'll go to a networking event and I'll start selling a product or a book or let's say an event, tickets to an event. And it's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with what you are selling. It's everything to do with who you are and how kind you are, how well you could listen to people who are in front of you. And right now, in this moment in time, what you are doing, you are sharing your generosity, you are sharing your kindness, you are sharing your story. And you know, is nothing more powerful than sharing your experience, because that experience you mentioned changed the course of your life, and that experience attracted more amazing experiences along the way, and who knows what's next. It's all about feeling generous towards others and feeling that what you have could serve them, what you have could possibly be the key for something they can't open otherwise. Over to you, Charlie.
Wow, thank you very much, Marina. The 30-second introduction. In the business world, we call it the 30-second elevator pitch. Very interesting point. Now, you threw in some interesting points as well. You're and not really wanting to be selling. Now, networking is actually a craft in its own. Many people, as I mentioned at the last show, is meet up with somebody and the very next thing they do is, I do this and I do that. I need, I can do that. And this is who I am. Now, it's a different thing if we says the 30-second introduction and the 30-second elevator pitch. There's a difference between them. That introduction is, hi, how are you? I'm Charlie Monson, and I am a networker and a connector. Stop. Who are you? As mentioned before, comes to listening and just into what the other person is doing. Asking the correct questions. The main thing is always call them by name. For example, and what does Marina do? What is it that I can do for Marina to assist Marina? What challenge does Marina face? Yes, it goes up to a 3-minute talk. But what I've also learned is that by asking questions to the person you meet, you show interest in them. And then also, what value do you bring to that relationship and to that connection that you are making? These connections with people start off at the relationship capital comes. Now, you also mentioned that what value are these connections? Yes, the monetary value is at the back. The most important thing is the relationship value. What relationship are you creating right there at that moment? How much value can you bring to that relationship? And which has actually resulted into me creating phenomenal with even some people that I have not even met. When we mention the digital world, I think I'm qualified to say we have not met one another personally. But however, I feel that there's a relationship, there's a connection with us. And that is how I also built up my network globally. Many people don't not even know personally, but we've created a relationship, and also what value could I bring to their relationships? That's where the connector comes in now. Just this morning, I connected two people from outside South Africa, and I connected the two of them together because within my network, I find out what people are doing, what the aspirations are, and I try and match these where there is synergy or where they could do business with one another as well. People see what you are doing and into your vision. They buy into your brand, basically. That's what you stand for. That is what you do. That is why, and to know that why you're doing good is what they actually. Networking really isn't that difficult. It's just getting yourself into that space, being at the correct places where you need to be. Let me make a little simple example. If you are a caterer, would you be going to a motor show to go and network with people at a motor show? Yes and no. Yes to no. But would you go to a networking event for event planners? Yes, you want to be there because event planners are going to need caterers. Or would you want to be going to a networking event for florists? Yes, you want to be there because it is conducive to what you are doing, and that is where you can find connections you can either collaborate with or that you can find a match with somebody being a florist and an events planner, and then you can match these two up. That the events planner, if you need a florist to do your decor and also the decor, these are the people you can speak to. And same as with the catering and vice versa. It is always good to find yourself in a place of interest and where you could get most value out of. Now you find a lot of people going to networking events and come back from there and says, "Now it was boring," and so forth. It's not because it was boring. It's because there was no synergy or congruence in what you are doing. So, it's as I pointed out, a caterer going to a motor show or a mechanic going to a catering event. There's not really much he's going to, yes, he's going to learn something, unless he has an interest in that. Then you get these different events. In a nutshell, is attend events that are conducive to your interests. Thank you, Nina.
Wow. Charlie, it's so
Hello, Nina.
yes. So everything you are teaching is priceless, and I know our listeners are taking notes, and I know that people from all over the world who are your fans, people who you never met, but they fall in love with you, with your passion, and because of your generosity and your kindness, and that makes me think of an old saying, which I know some people read it when looking to Dalai Lama, but my grandmother used to say that you don't need a reason to be kind, just be kind. And you got that nature, and you build yourself up from pain, from situations that made you stronger. And I know your message is about connecting people and help them create their worth by connecting with the right people. What is your view on creating worth through your network?
Well, Nina, your network, as we all know, your network is your net worth. And as I mentioned at my last show, how do we put value to your network? Relationship. It is so important to create and build and nurture relationships within your network. You would be amazed as to how much value it has. If you may need something and you have a relationship with someone, it is very, very easy to tap into it. Now, also the important part is not just creating these relationships. It all, at the end of the day, comes with how much value do you bring to those relationships. It can be the simplest of things. Maybe render of assistance, rendering some. In creating this network, somebody needs an assistance or a connection with getting to with somebody, or needs a question answered, needs something that they are struggling with. And that is how you start building this relationship. And again, as you said, you don't pay anything for being kind. You don't need to be coaxed to be kind. As I mentioned as well, one quote that I love the most is one by is that the vocation of every man and woman is to help others. Now, if you have that sort of mindset and that passion to be helping others, you will automatically receive help from other people. At sometimes you need to be charging people to help them, but it depends on what you are helping them with. If it maybe be someone just seeking some advice, yes, you don't need to give them a complete course, but you could help them with sort of make them understand what it is they actually want to do and what they should do, or what type of person would be best suited. It can take a minute, it can take 20 minutes. Or coaching space, being coached and being passionate about helping people. Within my network, I also have people who are assisting me with a few community development projects. I connect with people and help people get out of the situation where they are in by bringing them closer to these people, and a whole lot of people who are more qualified than what I am in that field. And it gives me so much pleasure when I see that we can at least do one little thing that can put someone into a better position that would help them change their lives. I'm also very much passionate about motivation. Um, I'm a very self-motivated person. I have a positive mindset. So what's the best thing I can do? Spirits, to give them a little bit more confidence, to give them a little bit more self-esteem, is, but as I do on social media, is to motivate them. People start seeing that, and that is how you create a platform where you attract people. And by attracting people, you also start making and creating relationships, creating relationship capital. People now ask you, what can I do when this happens? I can then introduce you to someone else who might be able to help you. Maybe that very same person helped me with a similar problem. I share a few of the from that person, and that person, I introduce you to them. They might be running a program, and you have a deal, you put a deal together. The person who I've brought can then remunerate me as to says thank you. In some instances, there are projects that are going on. Somebody needs funding. Somebody has money that he wants to invest somewhere. I make these connections, and obviously at referral fees. I have people within my network. I can always say, this is a deal someone has brought to me. Won't you please have a look at to me? Is it a good deal that I could take to someone else? So based on the relationship capital that I've created with all three parties, everyone is then assisting me. The main core of is building relationship capital. I would like everybody to bear that in mind. The most important in networking and the most valuable is to have relationship capital. Over to you, Nina.
Wow, Charlie, is not very much left for me to say. You said it all, and you said it so beautifully. And from both of us, until next time, please go to our website, radioworks.world, and nominate Charlie, because so far he got the most amount of nominations from all over the world. Be one. If you want to attract the right people, be one. From both of us, until next time, is goodbye.